There's a lot of advice out there on what you should or shouldn't do when you're buying a house, or when it's a good or bad time to invest in the housing market. In this video, we're going to go over some clips on home buying tips, and I'm going to give you my personal advice after working with hundreds of clients over the past nearly 7 years on what advice to follow and what you might want to maybe reconsider. If we've not met yet, I'm Shelby Brooks, and I've built a multi-million-dollar real estate business in Knoxville, Tennessee, out of being a trusted advisor for my clients. It's my mission to treat every client like family and to turn transactions into relationships. Let's get a look at clip number 1.
Okay. Well, we tell folks to put 25% of their take-home pay aside for housing. And no, math works in every city and in every state. You don't get a pass on math because you're in Washington, D.C., even though Congress thinks you do.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, a lot of people think they do.
Yeah, a lot of people in D.C. think you do, but you don't. And the purpose behind it is not that 25% is magic, Tanner. The purpose behind it is don't be house poor. If you find yourself able to save and able to invest because you keep all other parts of your lifestyle so low, then you're okay. But but what happens to most people is when they've got a high cost of housing in their budget, it squeezes their budget and there's not room to save up to buy the next car, so the next car becomes debt.
Okay, guys, let me start by saying I have a huge amount of respect for Dave Ramsey and what he has done and what he has helped so many people do. But I have to respectfully disagree with him on this one. Sure, in an ideal world, spending no more than 25% of your income on housing would be fantastic. But realistically, that's just not feasible for most buyers, at least in our market right now. What I'm seeing is they're spending anywhere from 35 to 45% of their income on housing to get something that they're at least moderately happy with and that's a good investment for them in the long run. So let's check out the next clip. How much can you actually afford?
Right now, you might be surprised to learn that in all but 4 major metros, renting is cheaper than buying. In fact, Redfin said that nationwide, the typical home costs an estimated 25% more per month to own than rent. This means financially, you could be better off renting and not buying right now, at least in the short term.
Okay, guys, as you could probably tell from my facial reaction on that, I disagree with this one for most people. Yeah, sure, in certain situations, it may cost you less per month to rent, but overall, never lose sight of the fact that you are still paying a mortgage. It's just not yours. So your money is going to help build someone else's equity. Again, not yours. All that money you're paying every month, you get nothing out of that at the end of the day. You're lucky if you get your deposit back. So there's no equity, there's no growth. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a time and a place to rent. I've rented at different stages of my life. When I was young and starting out, when I went through a divorce and I wasn't exactly sure how things were going to flesh out and where my feet were going to land, there is a time and a place. But I've personally always thought it's better to own where you live and invest in building your own equity long-term versus somebody else's. So our next clip comes from the 2024 housing market. Expect the unexpected.
If you're waiting for a housing crash in 2024, sorry, it's not going to happen. And at the same time, if you're a home buyer out there thinking that home prices are going to shoot through the roof again, you're also likely to be very disappointed. The 2024 housing market might actually surprise you, as even though mortgage rates are going to improve and supply is going to pick up a little bit, it's likely to look very much like the housing market we just experienced in 2023.
Okay, guys, can I get an amen up in here? I really agree with this guy. Absolutely, wholeheartedly. We live in a world full of checks and balances. As interest rates drop, prices tend to go up. We just saw this at an astounding rate from 2020 through 2022. Slightly more stable in 2023. I get it. Everybody wants to buy low and sell high, but those two things don't typically peacefully coexist in the same market at the same time. Our next clip is home buying advice no one else is going to tell you about. So let's check it out.
I'm 20 years old and I'm looking to buy a house within 6 months to a year. Besides having 20% down, what other tips would you recommend for a first-time home buyer? Also, is there anything that I need to look out for? I would say there's a couple of things to keep in mind. I think it's great that you're putting 20% down. We would say to do a deal where your payment is no more than 25% of your take home, and that's taxes, insurance, all included in a conventional loan. And I love that you're putting 20% down because then you can avoid PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, and it's just an additional cost there. But with 20% down, you can avoid that. But I feel like you're in pretty good shape. I mean, other than that, it sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, a couple of things. Good idea. Good question, by the way. 15-year fixed rate, 25% of your take-home pay. Always, everyone, anytime you buy a piece of real estate, get title insurance, 100% of the time. Anytime you're buying a piece of property that is not a traditional subdivision lot, meaning it's very, very predictable, always get a survey. So if you I bought 3 acres that turned out to be 1.75. You get a survey on it. Okay. Now you got a standard subdivision lot that is pre-platted and has changed hands 3 or 4 times. You don't have to worry about that. It is what it is. But if you're buying something otherwise, get a survey, get title insurance, get a home inspection. Get a home inspection. You're 20 years old. You're not an expert on much of anything in that house, unless you just happen to be an electrician or something, and then you would be, right? But, get a home inspection, period. I've bought and sold several thousand pieces of real estate. I get a home inspection. Last house I bought, I got one, okay?
I couldn't agree more with pieces of what Dave is saying in this clip, with the exception of the 20% down. It's great if you can do that, and if you can, you probably should, but it's not required. And many folks in this market just can't afford to do that. So my advice on that part is to speak with your lender. He or she is going to be all up in your financial business. So they're going to be able to help advise you on what you can and should do to put you in the best position. You guys know from my previous reaction, spending no more than 25% of your income is great if you can. In this market, most people are having to spend a little more. Let's look at the title insurance and the home inspection. Guys, if you've never watched any of my previous videos, you probably haven't heard me preach this, but I absolutely, 100%, without a doubt, bold, italicized, and underlined, recommend all of my buyers get both of those. The title insurance is going to protect you for the entire time you own that property. And if you refinance, you don't have to purchase it again. Just kind of remember that. The home inspection, like Dave was saying, you don't know what you don't know. If you're not a contractor, you don't always know what you're looking for. As your agent, I walk through the house and I can point out some things that I see that I know have been flagged on other home inspections, but I'm not an inspector. I'm not going to catch it all. So absolutely, title insurance, home inspection. Absolutely recommend them. They're a fabulous resource for you. My thoughts on a property survey. I'm kind of like Dave. If you're buying in a subdivision and you've got your 0.18 acre and it's a nice little neat square and it's been bought and sold a couple times, you don't really need one probably. It's pretty clear what you're getting. Now, if you're buying some land, definitely a good idea to do. I actually did one, this was several years ago, and we thought we were getting, I think it was like 7.5 acres. There was an issue at the county town hall and the register of deeds, and they couldn't find old documents on the property, so we had to have a new survey done. Guys, that land ended up being just under 10 acres, which was great for my buyers. Fabulous for them. But what if it had turned out to be 5 or 6 acres and they thought they were getting about 7, a little over 7.5. So when there's land involved, I do recommend getting one. Let me know what you guys think about these clips. In the comments below, shoot me a message. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? I would absolutely love to hear more about your thoughts and experiences in these areas. If you are looking to buy or sell a home in the Knoxville area and you would like to be taken care of by a trusted advisor, I really encourage you to schedule a free consultation with me where I'll go over my signature process for helping my clients with their real estate needs in Knoxville. You can contact me through email at shelby@brookshomegroup.com.